Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and look who's back. Dr. Brandon Nielsen. We are here at the end of June of 2021, and we wanted to bring you a little message about the importance of emotional stress release.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this has been an interesting year and a half, and I think there's been a lot of stress for everyone, and I know I am not exempt from that. And I've been practicing my own little means of emotional stress relief with different techniques, but this is your wheelhouse. I believe, that you are the one who created emotional stress relief, a technique that
I
can,
did.
I know, and we've talked about this before, but I really feel like this is an important message to bring to the forefront right now. And there's some nuggets of wisdom I think that would be important for us to drop for people today. So maybe explain what emotional release is, like
So
besides the obvious.
I'll say this kind of, and I didn't even tell you this. This will be very interesting. I've been in practice now almost 20 years, and
See the gray?
yeah, do you see
Proof,
that? All
proof.
these patients making me go, Ray, thanks, you guys know, wisdom. But never in my entire career have I ever seen more people with a lack of a will to live.
Wow.
More people just in this last week.
Hmm.
I don't know how many people are done. They want to check out. They want to die. I just had a lady on Wednesday. She said I actually even counted how many Tylenol it takes to take myself out.
Wow.
Never have I had this many people. I had a lady right after her that said, you know what, lately, and it was the weirdest thing. I'll tell you what's interesting about this lady. 3 months back, I didn't even know what was going on. She's a patient, and I had this thought that I should just text her. And I just texted her. And if you guys ever get those thoughts, you follow them. And I texted her and I just said, I just wanted to text you and say hi. And I just wanted to see how you're doing. What's interesting is I haven't seen her all those months because she lives in another state. And she said to me 3 months ago is when she was considering committing suicide. Okay, so more than any other time in all of my career, people are stressed and they're getting so stressed that they're willing to take their own lives.
Well, here's what I think that is. I think it's a feeling of hopelessness and
It
helplessness.
is, and alone. They're
And
feeling alone, even though there's people around, because they're disconnected. We've lost connection.
well, they're disconnected, but I would also say a piece of that is maybe their belief systems are different, and so they're disconnected because they don't know who their tribe is,
Right.
and they also don't feel a hope for the future. And as
Very
human
true.
beings, there is a necessity of hope. We must have hope for a future
Absolutely.
that is not only going to be better and brighter, but at least there and sustainable, right? So I think, and I will, I'm going to be really honest. There were a couple of times last year when I actually had these thoughts in my mind, like I don't want to live in a world that looks like this.
Right.
I wouldn't. It would never have gotten to the point where I'm like, well, I'm going to figure out what it's going to take to take myself out. But I actually thought, this doesn't feel like living to me.
Right.
And I don't want to live in a place where I don't get to make my own medical freedom choices. I'm watching people do things that I don't agree with. And there were some hopeless moments for me. So as you know, I'm known in my family as the most positive person. Like everyone is like, you need a shot of positivity, call Jane. Right. It's like so true. And I love
then
when
that. We get together, then it's like positive. It's like
it's totally true. So, I've kind of been talking about this in some of the last few videos that I've been sharing with you, is that you need to really get out of your comfort zone and find your tribe. You need to find like-minded people that, because maybe some of you have been disconnected from friends that you were connected with before, maybe even some family members you're disconnected from, even because it might be just your belief systems are different. And this is lonely. This is a lonely place to be. So I think that not only do we need to connect with each other, because I think it's really fascinating that you have all these patients who are feeling this.
I mean, even talking to my brother, he had last year through 2020, I don't know how many right now.
He's a doctor
Yeah,
too.
he also does the exact same thing as I do. He told me, I think right now, currently, he has 9 people on suicide watch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you guys, I know. And so what I'm talking to you, and if you're feeling alone, and that's where usually I'll give you the warning, but hopelessness and then alone, when people feel alone and there's people around them, that's where I usually see they're ready to be done. So
Check out.
honestly, please, if you feel alone, reach out to us. Like I know. So let's talk about emotional stress release. Hopelessness, that's actually an emotion, right? And it causes us stress in our body. We actually have 70% more negative nerve cells, in a sense, because our body's constantly saying, am I safe, am I safe, am I safe?
It's trying to protect us.
And it's trying to protect us. So in neurology, we have more negative cells than we do have positive cells, if you will. And the reason why is because it's constantly trying to protect us. Survival. So we always revert to negative unless you've learned how to become a champion like Jane, and she lives in the positive, and she's actually overcome that. What we do know, when somebody's negative, you're going to make less deals, you're going to be sick, you're going to be unhappy, just being in that negative, and the sense of fear. Fear would be a negative type emotion. Fear is also used for good, and it's there for a reason to keep us safe. But when it goes too far, then it becomes an emotional stressor. Anger. Anger is good. I lifted an 800-pound four-wheeler off a guy one time when I was angry. I don't know if I told you that. My buddy got crushed. Did I ever tell you that?
Were you angry?
Angry in the sense I used anger. I was like, I was so mad that the four-wheeler crushed him.
Yeah.
Anger. It was good. But when it goes too
Yeah.
far, it's emotional stress. If it keeps running on our body,
Right.
it becomes a toxin. Just like if you were to take in alcohol, just like if you were to take in smoke, just like if you were to ingest gasoline, something like that, it becomes a toxin. Sadness, grief. I've recently had to work with people just in the sense of grieving. Some women who are going through, relationships that are, horrible, just with the lying and stuff. And so they've been going through this grieving. If they get stuck in grieving, because there's a necessity to grieve when you have sadness. So grief is sadness with loss. Can be a loss of, yes, somebody dying, but can be also a loss of just a relationship. There needs to be grieving appropriately. If we go too far and stay in grief, then it becomes an emotional stressor. Okay? So you guys, the simplest way, did you want me to talk about how, I'm not going to go through the full technique.
Yeah.
A simplified version of what I do in the mornings, not every morning, but what I do is you want to connect your mind, your brain, not your mind, but your brain with your heart, right? So what I'll do is I'll think of the stresses of the day, and I'll try to put a name on them. The reason why when you put a name on a stressor, it's just the same type of thing when a doctor gives you a diagnosis. Why do people want a diagnosis?
They want to know what's going on.
They want to know what's going on. Well, guess what? Your brain, your body wants to know what's going on. And if you give it a name, it's like a diagnosis. And when they've actually shown the amygdala, which is the emotional center of the brain, when you give a name to how you're feeling, it's not just, it's anger, it's frustration, it's bitterness, resentment, rage, repression, whatever it is. When you give it a name, your body actually is able to reconcile
and process and
yes.
get rid of it.
So you guys, the simplified version, not even the $500 version, I'm just kidding, not even the $1,000, just the simplified version that's worth that much, is you always want to connect your heart with your brain. So your soul, okay, mind, body, soul.
So you literally put your hand on your heart.
Literally put your hand on your heart. Feel your heart beating.
Yeah.
Yep, feel it beating. Hand on your mind. Have you ever seen somebody who's emotionally stressed? They smack their forehead. That's the emotional point. And all you do, think about the stress of the day and try to give it a name.
Do you say it out loud?
Yeah, you don't even have to. You can even think it.
But I think it would be, like for me, I say it out loud.
You can say it out loud. I always have people say it out loud in my office, but when I'm next to my wife and she's still sleeping, I don't say it out loud because I'm not going to wake her up because she's pregnant. And I'm like, get as much sleep as you can get, honey. Because it's coming. We're not going to get much sleep, so y'all better get some sleep now.
And it's not just coming, it's number 5.
Yeah, and I know how sleepless nights go, so I don't say it out loud. But it still
You're
works.
a smart man. You're a smart
So
man.
I just be quiet, and I'll try to name, and I usually do it in the morning. Y'all can do it at night, it's fine, but I do it in the morning to start my day off. And I will go and I'll name the emotion. And I usually, for time's sake, I'll usually just do 3, okay? So I'll go through, let's see, I got stuck in traffic today. What would I call that? I would call that stubbornness. What? Yeah. And I have a list of all the emotions, but you can just think of the most common. You could even call that a sense of anger. That'd be under the frustration realm. So you just call it frustration. Feel the frustration, just big breaths. Here's the next key. Deep breathing.
Yeah, get some oxygen
Breathing.
flowing.
You got to get the oxygen. You're pronounced alive on this world once you took your first breath. Had you not taken your first breath, you would have not been alive. Right? You take that breath, you deep breaths, at least 3 breaths. 3 is my favorite number, but it works amazing. Okay? 3 breaths. Do 3 motions a day. You will be amazed at what starts happening with your day. That's a simplified version, and it's phenomenal.
So you just put your hand on your heart, your hand on your head. You think about the emotion. Do you do anything specifically to release it?
That is the release. So emotion, you think of the emotion. Where's the stress? Generally, you hold the stress in your body. So this is emotional point, stress, and then you release through breathing.
3 deep breaths for each emotion.
You can go longer. If it doesn't feel like it's cleared out, you can breathe longer. But that is honestly, if you guys will do that, and then sometimes people say, I got stuck, then they come to me and we work it out, and it's amazing.
Yeah, so here's a visualization I do when I release emotions. So I have this, I do this because you taught me this a long time ago, and I'll take the deep breaths, and as I am exhaling, I'll envision the emotion, whatever the negative emotion is, and I'll envision it like glitter.
Oh, that's great.
You know, like it literally is dissolving and it's leaving.
This is the advanced version. I love this.
Oh, it is?
It is. This is actually awesome. So I didn't tell him, but yes, I will do that. I was just giving the simplified, but I love this.
Well, to me, I can, and I say it out loud because, and then I can see it. I can almost kind of see
it.
And
I can see it. I know what you mean.
And then I feel lighter. Every one I do, I feel lighter.
That's exactly what I do.
I'm a good student.
That's amazing. So as I'm laying there, after I go through all 3, and you guys, I will tell you this, you must feel it to heal it.
Yes.
Try to feel it to heal it. It's
like a flat tire. That's how I can let it go.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can let it go is if I can, and it feels kind of dark.
If you can't feel it, you can just think of it. But I use that phrase because it makes feel it to heal it. But it is kind of dark. And people are like, well, why am I going back there? It's because you're focusing on the flat tire.
Well, it's still there.
Until you get it changed.
Right, exactly right.
But, okay, so since she went there, the next thing that I do, I'm not going to go through all the whole things, but the next thing I do is I actually visually watch this being pulled out of me.
Yeah.
And I like the glitter thing. Mine is actually more of, it's almost like a dark sand kind of being pulled out of my body, and it just goes upward.
Yeah.
And then, so since you asked, I then fill it up with light.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, because I feel lighter,
you guys, light will always fill all voids. Sometimes people are like, well, I better feel that. You know what? Yeah. As soon as you remove any darkness, light is there. All you got to do is remove the toxin. Light will always. If you take a candle into a room, it will fill every single void of the dark room. Even a match is the most amazing thing to really think about. That light beam will reach every single corner. Yeah. It's the only thing that can fill every void.
Yeah.
Is light.
Okay, so we're going to encourage you to try this because to me, this is a beautiful time to put this technique into your life.
Please.
Yeah.
For your sake.
And then share this with other people who you love as far as, this video or just this technique. Say, I've been trying this thing. And at the very least, maybe find someone in your community who can actually help you. If you feel like you need someone, like you have patients that you help, if you feel like you need someone to help you, go find someone who does what Dr. Nielsen does, or find someone that's like a Reiki master or an energy healer.
Yeah, people call it energy healing. I don't really do, I do it emotional stress release, but exactly that's what people generally call it.
Yeah.
Find somebody to help you though, you
Right.
guys.
If you feel like this is silly or overwhelming, but you still kind of believe it could work, but you don't know if you could actually do it yourself, first of all, try it. Practice. Get out of your comfort zone, because it's actually something that you really do. You're not out in a public display doing it. You're not going to really embarrass yourself.
No.
But it's actually one of the things that can totally change your life. And if there was ever a time in human history that this is needed and necessary, it's now.
Right now.
So thank you for watching. Please let us know what you think about this. We'd love to hear your comments.
Yeah.
But thanks for stopping by and sharing this.
So that the new fields that are coming out of this, it's actually called, there's positive psychology, and then there's actually a new field called energy psychology. And so it's being a whole thing. It's about time. It is. And it's being research developed, and it works.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. Well, thank you again for coming. You're
Absolutely.
amazing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.